Welcome, welcome, welcome to the deep dive. I am absolutely buzzing about today's subject because we are taking you straight into the very heart of college football, giving you an insider look you probably won't find anywhere else. Specifically, we're going on a deep dive into the early 2025 season for the FIU Panthers football team, covering those crucial first 4 weeks.
Yeah, that opening stretch?
Exactly.
Mm.
Now, what makes this deep dive truly unique,
Okay.
it's that we're not just looking at external game summaries or, general news reports. Oh, no.
Not the usual stuff.
We've actually managed to get our hands on an actual internal team debrief document. Think of it like the coaching staff's own candid, unvarnished assessment of their performance.
The real nuts and bolts.
And we're going to extract the most crucial insights, the emerging trends, and, well, all the juicy implications for the future of this program. So the central question guiding us today is, how did Coach DeGlester Hardungerchud's team navigate what was clearly a challenging opening stretch to achieve, a surprising 3-1 record?
Yeah, surprising to some.
And maybe even more importantly, what does this detailed debrief reveal about their true path forward for the rest of the season?
And that's precisely the mission of this deep dive. We're going to move well beyond just the surface level scores and, the readily available statistics.
Right.
Our goal for you is to truly understand the why behind FIU's early season performance. We'll do this by really breaking down key individual and team performances, identifying those persistent patterns.
Good and bad.
Good and bad, exactly. And uncovering the specific areas that will ultimately dictate their success as they push deeper into Conference USA play.
Yeah.
You see, while the 3-1 record looks great on paper, this internal analysis provides a much richer, much more nuanced picture.
It always does.
For you, the listener, this means you're going to gain a comprehensive, almost insider-like understanding of how a college football team approaches its early season. You'll see how every single play, every individual player's contribution, and every strategic decision, big or small, contributes to the bigger picture.
Every detail matters.
We're talking surprising facts and specific data points, all drawn directly from the team's own rigorous analysis. It's truly like having a seat right there in the coaching room yourself, privy to the very details that shape a team's strategy and future.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The Panthers are sitting pretty at 3-1 through 4 games, which, let's be honest, is a fantastic start for a team that faced a genuinely challenging opening slate.
No question.
They had that tough road loss, then a home rebound against a strong opponent, followed by a rivalry game that went down to the wire, and then boom, a dominant conference opener. That's quite the roller coaster.
It really was.
But what did that path actually look like, game by game? Because the journey itself, as revealed in this debrief, tells us so much more than just the final record, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right. It's absolutely crucial to understand the trajectory because each of these 4 games revealed distinctly different facets of this team, showcasing their strengths, but also, quite candidly, their glaring weaknesses.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Week 1.
Let's start with Week 1, Arkansas State 14, FIU 13. The agonizing near-miss FIU opened the season on the road, and it was a tough pill to swallow, suffering that narrow 14-13 defeat.
Oh, 1 point.
Yeah. What's truly striking about this game, as the debrief highlights, is that this wasn't a situation where they were significantly outplayed or, outmatched in terms of overall yardage or talent.
Right.
The document explicitly states they moved the ball well, which tells you they were generating offense.
So they weren't sold out.
No, not at all. However, the critical issue, flagged repeatedly in the debrief, was that they struggled to finish drives.
The red zone.
Exactly. This points directly and unequivocally to sloppy red zone play, costing them multiple scoring opportunities.
Yeah.
Now, why is red zone efficiency such a monumental difference maker, particularly in these kinds of close, low-scoring games?
It's everything in a close one.
It really is. The debrief specifically noted 2 recurring issues here. Coach Hardungerchud's analysis highlighted a tendency for receivers to round off their routes in that compressed space, making separation difficult.
Okay.
This was apparently compounded by quarterback Keon Jenkins holding the ball just a critical half-second too long sometimes, leading to what the debrief actually termed decision paralysis in pressure zones.
Wow, decision paralysis. That's specific.
Very specific. So it wasn't just the field shrinks. It was a breakdown in precise timing and execution that, when magnified in the red zone, left crucial points on the field.
Points they needed.
Desperately. In a 1-point game, every single one of those missed opportunities becomes devastatingly magnified, potentially swinging the entire outcome. The debrief even included a quote from Coach Hardunkachud that simply stated, "We left enough points on the field in that first game to buy a small yacht."
Huh. Okay, that paints a picture. A tough assessment, but clear. And it sounds like they had an early setback that certainly didn't help things. The debrief specifically mentions the injury to tight end Dallas Payne, who exited early. How significant was his absence in that first game?
Well, an injury to a player like Dallas Payne, particularly a tight end who's often, utilized as a reliable security blanket or a key blocker, can have a surprisingly profound ripple effect, especially that early in the season.
Right, disrupts the game plan.
Completely. The internal analysis noted that Payne's early exit meant the offensive coordinator immediately had to scrap several pre-designed red zone packages that relied on his unique combination of size and route running ability.
Ah, so specific plays gone.
Exactly. It forced them to rely on less experienced backups or to shift personnel, which just disrupted the rhythm and flow they had practiced all offseason.
Makes sense.
It wasn't just about losing a player. It was about losing specific rehearsed plays crucial for those high-leverage situations.
And defensively, I know the debrief mentioned Johnny Chaney Jr. anchoring things.
Yeah. Defensively, while senior linebacker Johnny Chaney Jr. was noted for anchoring the unit, even his leadership couldn't prevent the defense from surrendering that late game-winning drive.
So what does that imply? If you're anchored by a guy like that but still give up the winning drive?
Well, the debrief indicates that while Chaney Jr. was consistently making his reads, filling his gaps, doing his job, basically, there was a specific breakdown in eye discipline and gap integrity from other defenders on that final drive. It wasn't Chaney's fault, but rather a collective lapse that even his anchoring presence couldn't overcome.
Team game.
It highlights that even with a standout leader, football is the ultimate team sport. And one weak link at a critical moment can be exploited. This loss certainly set the stage, emphasizing a desperate need for precision and for capitalizing on every single opportunity moving forward.
Okay, so a tough start, a real gut-wrenching loss, but they showed resilience. Let's move to week 2, FIU 3-1, Appalachian State 23, the home rebound. This is their chance to bounce back, home opener, and they certainly did, securing that 31-23 win. What clicked here offensively, according to the debrief?
Yeah, this game was a stark contrast, particularly for the offense. The internal debrief notes that the offense truly clicked, highlighting Keon Jenkins' efficient passing and Keyshawn Owens' versatility as key factors.
Okay.
But here's the truly phenomenal offensive stat from this game, one that immediately jumps out and was a major point of discussion in the debrief. The Panthers converted an astonishing 12 of 13 third downs.
12 of 13, wow.
That's nearly perfect. Now, how does near-perfect third-down conversion sustain drives and impact the game flow so significantly?
Keeps the chains moving, keeps the defense off the field.
Exactly. And the surprising insight from the debrief wasn't just that they converted, but how. The coaching staff identified a clear pattern. 80% of those third-down conversions came on plays featuring pre-snap motion or shifts.
A schematic thing.
Yes, indicating that Appalachian State's defense consistently struggled with pre-snap reads and alignment when FIU varied their look. This wasn't just good play, it was strategic disorientation that forced defensive confusion and allowed easy completions or runs.
Smart coaching.
It's very smart. When you convert third downs at that rate, you effectively control the tempo of the game. You keep the ball, you chew up the clock, you wear down the opposing defense.
You keep your own D fresh.
And, most importantly, you deny their offense opportunities to score. It allows you to put together long, methodical drives that demoralize opponents and eventually lead to points. The debrief also notes they outgained App State in a balanced effort, indicating they weren't one-dimensional.
Run and pass working together.
Right. They could run and pass effectively, keeping the defense guessing.
That's incredible third down efficiency and fascinating that it came down to pre-snap motion. But, even in a win, were there any underlying defensive issues that the debrief pointed out? Did they clean everything up after week 1?
You hit on a crucial point there, and the debrief doesn't shy away from these issues. Despite the win, the defense showed clear vulnerabilities.
Okay, like what?
The debrief specifically noted that they gave up several big plays on jump balls. That's a direct challenge to their defensive backs in contested catch situations. Think back shoulder throws, deep fades.
Right, those 50-50 balls.
Exactly. And critically, they dropped a key interception. This isn't just a minor detail. The coaches highlighted it as part of a recurring pattern of missed opportunities.
Oh, a pattern already.
Yeah. The internal report mentioned a lack of consistent head-on a swivel play from the safeties and corners, leading to them playing the receiver's hands rather than the ball.
Bad technique.
Fundamentally, the phrase holding strong late implies that while there were those lapses, particularly in pass coverage and ball skills, they were able to bend without completely breaking when it mattered most.
Got the stops when they needed them.
They got crucial stops or forced field goals instead of touchdowns in key moments, which is vital in a tighter game. So for you, the listener, this game really demonstrated FIU's offensive potential and their commendable ability to bounce back from a disappointing loss.
Definitely showed heart.
But it also laid bare some defensive challenges that, as we'll see, would persist in subsequent games. Kind of a clear warning sign, really.
Okay, so momentum was building, and they certainly needed it. That momentum carried them into what was arguably their biggest test of the early season, maybe the whole season. Week 3, FIU 24, FAU 21. The rivalry thriller.
Shula Bowl.
The annual Shula Bowl, huge rivalry game, and FIU emerged victorious on a last-second 44-yard field goal from Alejandro Prado. Talk about clutch. What did the debrief have to say about this nail-biter?
Oh, this game was an absolute roller coaster, and the debrief details just how much of a thriller it was. Offensively, FIU truly exploded in terms of yardage, piling up an impressive 468 total yards.
Wow, almost 500 yards.
Yeah. Keon Jenkins continued his strong play, throwing for 327 yards and 2 touchdowns, showcasing his arm talent again. And Kejon Owens was, yet again, a massive contributor with 3 total scores, further solidifying his reputation for versatility and playmaking.
Sounds like a blowout on paper.
You'd think with that kind of offensive output, it would have been a comfortable win, right?
But it sounds like it wasn't comfortable at all. The debrief mentions some critical details that kept FAU right in the game. What were those crucial errors?
Indeed. Despite the offensive fireworks, the debrief immediately points to the flip side. 3 offensive turnovers kept FAU in the game.
Ouch! 3 turnovers!
This is a profoundly critical detail. How did these turnovers almost negate such a dominant offensive performance in terms of yardage? Well, the internal analysis highlighted how each of these turnovers drastically flipped field position and momentum.
Yeah, turnovers kill drives.
And worse. For instance, an early second-quarter fumble deep in FAU territory on what looked like a scoring drive gifted FAU the ball back near their own goal line, completely squashed FAU's momentum.
Brutal.
Then a third-quarter interception born from Jenkins forcing a ball into double coverage led directly to an FAU touchdown just 2 plays later.
Oh, wow. Points off turnovers.
Exactly. Each turnover represented a lost scoring opportunity for FIU, and more dangerously, either granted the opponent excellent field position or even direct points. It forces your defense back onto the field without rest and turns potential blowouts into nail-biters.
So if FIU cleans up those mistakes,
this game could have been a much, much clearer victory. And compounding this, the debrief points out that recurring defensive issue again. FIU's defense again failed to capitalize on a turnover opportunity, specifically dropping another interception.
not again. What does this pattern suggest?
Yeah.
Is it concentration?
Discipline.
The coach's notes expressed clear frustration. They highlighted that while players were consistently getting their hands on the ball, there was a fundamental issue with securing it, a clear lack of clutch catchability in the secondary.
Just can't finish the play defensively. Right. It indicates that players might be more focused on anticipating the play than on the very basic but crucial skill of actually catching the football. This represents not just a missed statistical opportunity, but a significant psychological one. A takeaway can flip momentum, stop a drive cold, recharge your own offense.
Huge momentum swings.
Absolutely huge. So this game truly highlighted both the team's incredible clutch capability with that last-second field goal, but also the very high cost of offensive turnovers and, crucially, those consistently missed defensive takeaways.
Man, what a roller coaster. So after a nail-biter like that, you'd think they might be a bit exhausted, maybe emotionally drained, but Week 4 offered a stark contrast. This was their CUSA opener, FIU 38, Delaware 0, the dominant statement. This sounds like the kind of performance every coach dreams of.
It absolutely was. The debrief states unequivocally that the Panthers delivered their most complete performance of the season in their CUSA opener. This was a true domination of Delaware in all 3 phases: offense, defense, special team.
Shutout.
A resounding 38-8-0 shutout. This game was a real statement to the rest of the conference.
And who was leading the charge?
At the heart of it was Keon Jenkins' masterclass at quarterback. He completed an incredible 22 of 24 passes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
22 of 24, that's ridiculous efficiency.
Near perfection. But he wasn't just a passer. He also added 70 rushing yards and 2 more scores on the ground.
Wow, a true dual threat explosion. How does a performance like that elevate the whole offense and mess with the defense?
Well, the debrief analyzed how Jenkins' ability to improvise and extend plays forced Delaware's defensive coordinator into, like, a constant state of uncertainty.
Hmm.
They tried assigning a dedicated spy linebacker, but Jenkins consistently outmaneuvered them,
Kept them guessing.
either scrambling for significant gains or drawing defenders up to open up receivers downfield. It adds this extra layer of complexity to defensive assignments and often creates opportunities for other players as defenders get preoccupied with containing the scrambling QB.
Makes everyone else's job easier. And it sounds like he wasn't doing it alone. The debrief highlights strong performances from Keyshawn Owens and Alex Perry as well, right? Cementing their roles.
Precisely. Keyshawn Owens continued to impress, 90 rushing yards and 2 receiving touchdowns, again showcasing his continued impact as that versatile weapon we've discussed.
The matchup nightmare.
Exactly. And then you have Alex Perry, who truly emerged in this game with 8 catches for 110 yards and a score.
Big game for Perry. What does his performance indicate about the vertical passing game's development for FIU? How did the debrief analyze his emergence?
Well, the internal analysis highlighted Perry's improved route running and his ability to win those 50-50 balls, particularly on go routes and deep post patterns. He was effectively pulling safeties deep.
Opening things up underneath.
Right, creating wider windows underneath for shorter passes. This suggests that they are not just relying on short, efficient passes, but are confidently pushing the ball downfield, challenging safeties, and stretching defenses horizontally and vertically.
Adds another dimension.
A crucial dimension to an already balanced offense, making them even harder to predict. And perhaps most impressively, the defense finally clicked in this game. They were stifling, allowed just 92 total yards.
92.
That's it.
Yeah.
And forced an incredible 7 3-and-outs.
7. How does forcing that many 3-and-outs just completely control a game?
The debrief's observation was that this level of defensive dominance completely demoralized Delaware's offense. Every 3-and-out meant the opposing offense got the ball for what, maybe a minute, gained almost no yards, and then had to punt it right back.
Gives the offense great field position, too.
Excellent field position, maintained momentum, and kept their own defense fresh and energized. It's a complete stranglehold that allows a team to dictate the terms of the game. This game truly established a new benchmark for their play.
So the question becomes,
Was this an anomaly or a genuine glimpse of FIU's true dominant potential? The debrief certainly leaned towards the latter, indicating a new standard for execution had been set.
okay, so we've tracked their journey, the ups and downs of each of those first 4 games. Fascinating stuff. But now let's really home in on the individuals who made the plays and those overarching patterns that have emerged from this detailed debrief. Who are the consistent playmakers, and what are those deeper trends that the coaching staff identified as critical?
Exactly. The debrief goes far beyond just the game summaries. It pulls out critical insights about the personnel and the team-wide habits that are either propelling them forward or, quite frankly, holding them back. Let's start with the offensive standouts, the engine room of this team.
All right.
First and foremost, QB Keon Jenkins. He's described as efficient and productive through 4 games, which we saw certainly validated by that near-perfect performance against Delaware. That was clearly the highlight.
Yeah, the Delaware game was incredible.
But the debrief isn't shy about identifying a crucial area for improvement. His need to limit turnovers in tight games.
Right, the flip side of his playmaking. What are the nuances there? A QB who can be brilliant but also turnover prone.
Well, the internal analysis pointed to a kind of high-variance profile. On one hand, Jenkins demonstrates this elite capability to carry the team, make incredible plays with both his arm and his legs, and consistently push the ball downfield. He's undeniably talented and clutch, as shown in the FAU game.
Definitely has the it factor sometimes.
He does. But the turnovers, especially the 3 against FAU and the crucial ones in Week 1, show a tendency to, force throws under pressure or to misread coverage, particularly when the pocket collapses or the play extends.
Trying to do too much, maybe?
Possibly. It means the team's success often hinges on which version of Jenkins shows up. The brilliant playmaker who elevates everyone around him, or the one susceptible to critical errors that can negate an entire drive or even a game.
So the coaches have to manage that risk.
Exactly. It demands that the coaching staff strategize on how to maximize his brilliance while mitigating that risk.
Makes perfect sense. He sounds like a true game changer, for better or worse sometimes. Who else is making a significant impact on offense according to the debrief?
Absolutely. Next up is RBWR Keyshawn Owens. The debrief clearly identifies him as FIU's most dynamic offensive weapon.
We've heard his name a lot already.
You have. His ability to contribute heavily in both rushing and receiving roles and to lead the team in total touchdowns creates significant matchup problems for defenses.
Hmm.
How does a player with this kind of versatility truly open up the entire offense based on the debrief's analysis?
Defenses don't know how to classify him, right?
Exactly. The coaching staff noted that Owen's versatility forces defenses into these difficult choices. Opponents tried everything, putting slower linebackers in man coverage, which Owens consistently exploited with his quickness and space,
Easy win for Owens.
to bringing a safety down to cover him, which then often opened up the deep middle of the field for other receivers. His presence dictates defensive personnel changes and draws attention away from other playmakers, creating space and opportunities elsewhere. He's a true chess piece for Coach Hrdunkichud.
A nightmare for defensive coordinators. Then who else stood out?
Then we have WR Alex Perry, who was highlighted as an emerging talent. He's becoming Jenkins's top target in the vertical passing game, exemplified by his impressive 110-yard day versus Delaware.
Okay, emerging. What exactly does it mean to be a top target in the vertical passing game for an offense? What did the debrief emphasize about his role?
It means he's the player they trust to consistently win battles downfield, whether it's on a deep comeback, a post route, or just a straight go route.
Taking the top off the defense.
Pretty much. The debrief emphasized Perry's improved body control and ability to adjust to maybe less than perfectly thrown balls, turning potential incompletions into big gains.
Valuable skill.
Very valuable. For the offense, having a reliable vertical threat forces safeties to play deeper, which in turn opens up the intermediate passing game and creates more space for the run game. He prevents defenses from just crowding the line of scrimmage, makes the entire offense more dynamic and unpredictable.
Stretching the field. Got it. And what about the tight end, Dallas Payne?
Yes. T. Dallas Payne. His impact is clearly noted when healthy, but unfortunately that early injury in Week 1 limited his season start.
Right. So what might have been different if he'd been healthy from day one? What did the offense miss?
The debrief specifically pointed out the absence of his strong Y option route in their red zone packages after Payne's injury. He was slated to be a primary target in those compressed areas.
Connecting back to the red zone struggles.
Directly. His absence meant a less dynamic threat and fewer reliable options for Jenkins near the goal line, contributing to those early red zone issues. A healthy Dallas Payne would have provided Jenkins with another reliable target, particularly over the middle and in the red zone, and offered a strong blocking presence in the run game, which was clearly missed.
Okay, so a lot of offensive talent, definite firepower, but also some clear areas where they could have been even stronger with full health and fewer turnovers. Now let's shift to the defensive side. What did the debrief reveal about their defensive notes? The unresolved puzzles.
Okay, on defense, the debrief is very specific. First, LB Johnny Chaney Jr., the veteran leader in the middle, provides that consistent tackling presence.
The anchor. What's the strategic importance of a guy like that in the middle? What did the debrief highlight?
A middle linebacker like Chaney Jr. is essentially the quarterback of the defense, right?
Yeah, making the calls.
Exactly. The debrief noted his exceptional communication skills and ability to diagnose plays quickly, making adjustments for the entire front seven before the snap. His consistent tackling presence means he's a reliable force in stopping opposing run games and limiting gains in the short passing game.
Cleans things up.
He really does. His leadership is crucial for ensuring everyone is aligned and executing their assignments, especially when opponents use tempo or misdirection. He truly sets the tone for the entire unit, leading by example.
Vital player. But what about the issues?
Well, a glaring issue that the debrief points out, with what sounds like significant frustration, is the interception drought.
Ah, yes, the dropped picks.
FIU defense has yet to record an interception through 4 games, despite multiple near takeaways. This isn't just a statistical anomaly. The coaches highlighted it as a recurring pattern.
0 interceptions through 4 games is tough. What are the tangible effects of not securing takeaways as detailed in the debrief, besides the obvious?
The impact is significant and multifaceted. Interceptions are game-changing plays. They flip field position, can lead directly to points, provide an enormous emotional boost to the defense while demoralizing the offense.
All that momentum.
All of it. The debrief specifically noted instances where dropped interceptions allowed long drives to continue, leading to opponent scores, rather than providing the FIU offense with a short field.
Oof.
The coach's notes even contained a frustrated aside. Butterfingers. Again, it suggests that while players are in position, there might be a fundamental issue with technique. Maybe a lack of proper drills on tracking the ball or playing the receiver's hands instead of the ball itself.
Something they need to fix in practice.
Absolutely. This directly translates to missed opportunities to swing momentum and score points, placing more pressure back on the offense.
Okay, so takeaways are a major work in progress. Was there anything positive defensively noted?
Yes. On a more positive note, there was run defense improvement. The debriefs noted run defense improved dramatically in Week 4 after giving up chunk plays in earlier games.
That Delaware game again. What accounted for such a dramatic shift in just one game, according to the debrief? Was it just Delaware being weaker, or did FIU change something?
The debrief actually attributed this dramatic shift to a combination of focused schematic adjustments and improved player execution.
Okay, so tangible changes.
Yeah. They apparently implemented a new blitz package designed to collapse the pocket more quickly and force runs outside, which suited their quicker defensive ends. There was also a renewed emphasis in practice on gap integrity and two-gap responsibility for the defensive linemen, which clearly translated to better play.
So coaching adjustments paid off.
They did. While Delaware's run game might not have been as potent as some earlier opponents, the debrief indicated that the improvement was largely due to FIU's internal corrections and a more aggressive mindset. This improvement suggests that the coaching staff is capable of identifying and addressing issues quickly, which definitely bodes well.
That's a good sign. But still some worries.
Finally, yes. The debrief notes that pass coverage is still vulnerable. Pass coverage is still vulnerable to jump balls and deep sideline routes.
Back to the jump balls.
Right. This connects directly to the dropped interceptions and the big plays surrendered that we discussed earlier. How do these vulnerabilities manifest against different offensive schemes? What challenges does it pose?
Teams will test that, won't they?
Oh, constantly. The debrief indicated that against offenses with strong outside receivers who excel at contested catches, or against pro-style teams that love to take deep shots down the sideline on play action, this vulnerability becomes glaring.
Puts the DC in a tough spot.
It forces defensive coordinators into difficult choices. Either play off coverage, giving up easy short games and inviting longer drives, or try to play press man, risking giving up huge plays if their DBs can't consistently win those one-on-one battles.
Damned if you do.
Pretty much. The debrief suggested a need for more drills focusing on turn and locate and high-pointing the ball for defensive backs, indicating a fundamental technique issue rather than just a scheme problem.
Back to fundamentals.
Seems like it.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. The debrief doesn't just tell us what happened game by game or player by player, but why it matters. Identifying these clear team-wide strengths and areas begging for improvement. This is the analytical gold that gives us true insight, right? Beyond just individual player performances.
You're absolutely right. This analytical section is truly the core of understanding their potential moving forward. It distills all those game-by-game observations into broader, more actionable trends for the coaching staff. Let's start with their unquestionable strengths, which are quite formidable when they're clicking.
Okay, lay 'em on me.
First, third down efficiency. That 12 of 13 conversion rate against App State wasn't just a fluke. The internal analysis highlights it as consistently sustaining drives. Why is converting third down so fundamental to offensive success? Especially in terms of time of possession and controlling the game, as the debrief analyzed it.
Keeps the offense on the field, defense resting.
Exactly. Every third down conversion extends a drive, which means your offense stays on the field longer, chewing up the clock. The debrief specifically noted that this allowed FIU to dictate the tempo of games, limiting the number of possessions the opposing offense got.
Huge advantage.
It effectively wears down the opposing defense, keeps your own defense fresh on the sideline, and ultimately controls the flow and momentum of the entire game. It's a massive psychological and statistical advantage.
Can't argue with that. What else?
Next, a balanced offensive attack. The debrief praises their capability of winning via run or pass when execution is clean. How does this balance make them inherently harder to defend, based on the coaching staff's assessment?
Can't just key on one thing.
Precisely. When an offense can run effectively and pass effectively, it's incredibly difficult for defenses to commit to stopping one over the other. The debrief pointed out that if opponents loaded the box to stop the run, FIU could beat them over the top or with quick passes to Owens or Perry.
Makes sense.
Conversely, if defenses dropped more defenders into coverage, FIU showed they could gash them on the ground. This forces defenses to stay honest, spreading their resources and making them vulnerable to play-action fakes and misdirection.
Keeps the defense guessing.
Maximizes offensive coordinator flexibility and makes game planning against them a real nightmare.
Okay, good balance. What's next on the strengths list?
Then, The reiteration of offensive versatility, specifically with Keyshawn Owens, his dual threat ability consistently creates matchup problems
We keep coming back to him.
because he's that important. We've touched on this, but to elaborate on the tactical challenges he presents, as detailed in the debrief, a defensive coordinator has to decide who is going to cover him. Is it a linebacker? A safety?
Neither is ideal, probably.
Exactly. The debrief noted opponents tried everything from putting linebackers in man coverage, which Owens consistently exploited with his speed and space, to bringing a safety down, which then left other areas of the secondary vulnerable. His presence dictates personnel changes for the defense and often pulls attention away from other receivers or running lanes because of the attention he draws. He's a genuine offensive chameleon.
A true weapon. Any other major strengths identified?
Yes, and a huge indicator of success that the debrief lauded: pass protection. The analysis notes minimal sacks allowed so far.
Oh, that's huge for Jenkins.
Huge. What does this suggest about the offensive line's performance and the overall scheme? And how important is it?
Means the O-line is gelling, communicating.
Right. It suggests that the offensive line is performing at a high level, both in terms of individual blocking technique and as a cohesive unit, demonstrating excellent communication. The debrief also implied that the offensive scheme itself, maybe quick throws, screens, or timely play action, is helping the line by not forcing them to hold blocks for extended periods.
Smart play design.
Good pass protection keeps the quarterback clean, allows receivers time to get open, and significantly reduces the risk of turnovers or negative plays. It's absolutely vital for offensive rhythm and continuity. It's a foundational strength that often goes unnoticed by the casual fan, but the coaches definitely see it.
Okay, so they have some really strong foundations to build on, which is definitely promising. But as with any team, there are critical areas for improvement that the debrief doesn't pull any punches on. These are the details that separate good teams from, championship contenders.
Not at all. The debrief is candid here, and these are the areas that will likely determine whether they can genuinely contend for a conference title down the stretch. First, the turnover margin.
We knew this was coming.
Yep. The debrief explicitly states that offensive giveaways in weeks 1 and 3 nearly cost FIU both games. How do turnovers flip momentum and directly impact scoring opportunities for the opponent? Let's look at the specific examples from those games, as analyzed in the debrief.
Lay it out.
In week 1 against Arkansas State, their 2 red zone turnovers that fumble at the 5-yard line and a high snap leading to a sack fumble meant they left at least 7, maybe 10 points on the field in a 14-13 loss.
Direct cause of the loss, basically.
Absolutely direct. In week 3 against FAU, the 3 offensive turnovers, including that forced interception and a fumbled punt return, despite piling up 468 total yards, they only won by 3 points on a last-second field goal.
Living dangerously.
Very.
Yep.
Each turnover gives the opponent a short field or even a defensive score, fundamentally shifting the game's balance and forcing the offense to play catch-up or simply giving the defense no rest. It's killer.
Okay, turnovers are priority number 1. What's next?
Second, relatedly, red zone efficiency. They left points on the field versus Arkansas State and FAU.
Again, connecting back to that week 1 loss, it was the direct cause of their defeat. What are common reasons teams struggle in the red zone? What did the debrief pinpoint for FIU specifically?
Well, generally it's often due to the compressed field, right? Defensive pressure gets to the quarterback faster, passing lanes are tighter, running lanes are smaller.
Everything's harder.
Everything's harder. The debrief specifically noted that beyond the rounded routes and that decision paralysis we mentioned earlier, there was also a tendency for play calling to become either too conservative sometimes or maybe overly complex in the red zone, leading to execution issues.
Finding that balance is key.
It's about precision, discipline, and execution in a high-leverage, high-pressure area of the field where every inch matters. They have to convert those opportunities into touchdowns, not field goals or turnovers.
Gotcha. Third critical area.
Third, defensive takeaways. That persistent 0 interceptions through 4 games dropped multiple chances.
The Butterfingers.
This isn't just about statistics. The debrief highlighted it as those critical missed opportunities for game-changing plays. How vital are takeaways in defining a defense's impact? What were the specific implications the debrief noted?
They change games. Simple as that.
They are absolutely crucial. Great defenses don't just stop opponents. They create opportunities for their own offense by generating turnovers. The debrief pointed out that in the App State and FAU games, dropping potential interceptions meant the FIU offense had to start deep in their own territory instead of getting a short field, directly impacting potential scoring.
Field position battle.
An interception or a fumble recovery can directly lead to points, swing momentum, give the offense a short field. The absence of takeaways means the defense is relying solely on stopping drives, which is just harder to sustain over an entire game, especially against good teams.
Makes the offense's job harder.
It's a missed opportunity to truly dominate. The coaching staff made it crystal clear in their notes that this was a non-negotiable area for immediate improvement. They need takeaways.
Okay, non-negotiable. What's the last critical area?
Finally, limiting big plays. The secondary is still susceptible to contested catches downfield.
The jump ball issue again?
This is a direct challenge to their pass coverage. What are the defensive adjustments or personnel changes that the debrief suggested might address this, beyond just technique?
More drills aren't always the only answer.
Right. The debrief suggested a combination of improved fundamental technique for DBs, emphasizing better eye discipline, better leverage, a more aggressive approach to playing the ball in the air rather than the receiver, along with potential schematic adjustments.
Like what kind of adjustments?
This includes potentially incorporating more safety help over the top on certain formations, or developing a more consistent pass rush to put pressure on the quarterback, reducing the time he has to throw deep.
Get to the QB before he can launch it.
Exactly. Personnel changes, maybe bringing in players who are better at winning those 50-50 balls, could also be considered if the current players are consistently struggling. The debrief was clear. This is a weakness that good offenses will exploit relentlessly if it's not fixed.
Okay, so a clear roadmap. Cut turnovers, score in the red zone, create takeaways, limit big plays. Simple, right? So what does all of this mean, not just for the rest of this season, but looking ahead? Beyond the current performance, the debrief also gives us a peek into the future with key recruiting commitments. How do these pieces, the current performance and the future talent, fit into the bigger picture for FIU?
Yeah, it's absolutely about building for a sustained success, not just one season, which is why the debrief thoughtfully includes the recruiting roundup, building for tomorrow. These early commitments are a critical sign of a program's trajectory and how the coaching staff is actively addressing identified needs.
Smart to include that. Who are they bringing in?
First, we have FS Bernie Lieber, a 3-star coverage specialist from Fort Lauderdale, FL, weighing in at 5'10", 191 pounds. His stated reason for choosing FIU: immediate playing time.
Okay, immediate playing time. What does that tell us about the current depth chart at free safety and the coaching staff's pitch? What's the debrief imply?
Well, the debrief, by highlighting this commitment, strongly suggests that the coaching staff has identified a clear need for immediate impact at that position. It states Lieber is expected to compete early with 2 juniors and 1 sophomore currently at FS.
So no one's locked it down.
Exactly. It indicates that while there are players there isn't an entrenched elite starter who has completely locked down the position. The coaching staff is clearly using the promise of early playing time as a significant draw, which can be very appealing to talented recruits who want to get on the field quickly and make an impact.
Smart recruiting tactic.
It's a smart recruiting strategy to fill immediate needs and elevate competition within the roster.
Makes sense. Who else is coming in?
Then there's SS Cliff Mwamba, another 3-star coverage specialist from Largo, FL, who is a bigger safety at 6'1" and 206 pounds. His key factor for choosing FIU was proximity to home.
Okay, staying close.
He will join a depth chart with 2 junior strong safeties, positioning him for early reps. Now, how do these early commitments, especially at safety, signal a strategic focus for the program's future defense, particularly in light of those earlier vulnerabilities we discussed?
2 coverage specialists at safety. Seems like they're targeting that pass D weakness.
Bingo. Both Lieber and Mwamba are described as coverage specialists at the safety position, which is incredibly telling, isn't it?
Definitely.
The debrief implies that bringing in 2 talented safeties, even if they're freshmen, to compete for early reps is a direct response to addressing those persistent vulnerabilities to jump balls and deep sideline routes.
Addressing the need head on.
It signals a clear emphasis on improving the secondary's ball skills and overall coverage ability. The coaching staff is prioritizing shoring up the back end of the defense, likely recognizing that consistent pass coverage is essential for long-term success against increasingly sophisticated passing offenses in college football.
Good foresight.
They're investing in the future of their secondary, and these commitments are a strong vote of confidence in their ability to develop defensive talent.
That's a great insight into their strategic thinking, how they're building for next year, even while the season is playing out. So, with this strong early season performance, despite the flaws and these promising new commitments, what's the overall outlook? Contending in Conference USA, what does the debrief project?
The debrief offers I'd say, very clear and optimistic outlook, but a conditional one. FIU currently sits at an impressive 3-1, and they definitely have momentum heading deeper into Conference USA play.
Strong position to be in.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Far exceeding initial external expectations for the program, probably. The conditions for success, though, are clearly outlined by the coaching staff. If the Panthers can sustain their Week 4 level of execution, particularly on defense,
that Delaware game blueprint.
right. If they can do that, the debrief explicitly states they have the talent to contend in the conference. This highlights the paramount importance of consistency, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Can't just be a one-off performance.
No. Week 4 was a shutout, a dominant performance across all phases. The debrief noted that replicating that level of defensive play would make their offensive firepower, which is already potent, even more dangerous, and provide a critical margin of error.
And what are the critical factors that will truly make or break their conference title hopes, especially as they face tougher competition moving forward? What did the debrief zero in on?
The debrief pinpoints 2 specific areas that will be critical for success against stronger opponents: improving red zone efficiency and winning the turnover battle.
Back to those two again. Why are they so important against the better teams?
The debrief's reasoning is clear. Against stronger opponents, scoring opportunities are often fewer and farther between. You simply cannot afford to leave points on the field in the red zone,
Every chance counts.
because those missed touchdowns could be the fundamental difference in a tight game against a more talented, well-coached team. Every possession, every point becomes magnified.
Makes sense. And the turnover battle.
Similarly, winning the turnover battle becomes absolutely paramount. Stronger opponents are less likely to make unforced mistakes, so every turnover you gain is a massive advantage that can flip field position, potentially leading directly to points.
And giving one away is even worse.
Conversely, every turnover you commit is likely to be capitalized upon more ruthlessly by a good team, immediately putting your defense in a tough spot or swinging momentum dramatically. Against elite teams, these small details often decide the outcome, whereas you might be able to overcome them against weaker competition.
So the potential is there, but execution is key.
The debrief suggests that if they do address these issues, if Keon Jenkins limits his turnovers, if the offense consistently scores touchdowns in the red zone, and if the defense finally starts getting those interceptions and converting near takeaways, then their pass could look like true contention, maybe even a conference championship appearance. The talent is clearly there to make a deep run.
But if they don't,
However, the debrief also cautions that the potential challenges if they don't address these issues are significant. They could find themselves in a series of close games that slip away due to critical mistakes or missed opportunities, preventing them from reaching their full potential despite their clear talent. It's a fine margin, and these internal findings highlight exactly where their focus must be.
wow, what an incredible deep dive into the early season of FIU football. We've really seen the highs, haven't we? Dominant wins, last-second thrillers, but also the crucial lessons learned from narrow defeats and those recurring challenges. It's abundantly clear that while talent abounds on this team, the margins of victory in college football often come down to the very specific details we've discussed today, those red zone efficiencies, those missed takeaways, those critical offensive turnovers.
Indeed. By really digging into this internal debrief, we've gained an invaluable perspective on how a football program analyzes itself, identifying both its undeniable strengths and its most pressing weaknesses.
Self-awareness is key.
Absolutely. The ability to learn, adapt, and execute based on these insights, making real-time adjustments and addressing fundamental issues, will truly define their season from here on out. It's a fascinating look at the inner workings, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a final provocative thought for you, our listener, to consider. Given everything we've uncovered in this early season debrief, the offensive firepower versus the defensive vulnerabilities, the turnover struggles versus the third down efficiency, which single area do you think will be the ultimate determinant of FIU's overall success in the rest of this season?
Ooh, good question.
Is it their ability to generate more defensive takeaways, finally get those picks? Or is it their capacity to minimize offensive turnovers, protect the ball better? Think about the ripple effects each would have on field position, momentum, and ultimately the scoreboard. Something to chew on.
Definitely something to think about.
Thank you for joining us on this fascinating deep dive. We hope you feel incredibly well informed and ready to discuss the nuances of FIU football with confidence.